and then it's going to be good night, right? So far so good. How today is unfolding? Experience is good? Good. So many different Montessorians. This is offline. Actually, is this on? Have you ever heard the word parent education before? Like I'm talking about 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Your parent, my parent, our grandparents, did they go to some technical institute to become educated as to how to be parents? No. So why the question today? Why the need today? That's a very big question mark. Why do you think we feel the need that parents should be educated? Well, if you go back in time, and I believe it's the same for all culture, countries, long ago, there were people living joint family system. Have you ever heard about that? You know, grandparents, their children, they grew up, they got married, they brought their wives home, they had children, and then another brother got married, he brought his wife, and the family grew. Under one roof, you had a complete form of life. There were at least 5 to 6 children, even more in those days. So the parent, the mother, she did not have the time for her children. There were not so much technology then. Like we didn't have the microwave and the washing machine. So the mothers had to do a lot of work by themselves. Even the stoves was, I'm talking about many years ago, In that way, the children didn't get the attention from their mothers, their parents, and having 3, 4, 5 children, the eldest child could be maybe 8 years old. And then one who's 7, 6, 5, 4. How do you manage that? That was the plus point of that these children, if a 4-year-old child was hungry, his 6-year-old brother will give him something to eat. If he was tired, he will just fall under a tree and fall asleep. The houses were bigger. There was nature in the environment, plants, trees, even animals like ducks, hens, goats. So the children at that time, as I use the word, under one roof, they got a complete life. They learned how to fight with cousins. They learned how to share. They learn how to love, how to care, how to give, how to respect. And parents in those days, so what is the problem with today's parent? Big problem. We wouldn't like to hear it, but it's a big problem. For example, the adult today, we are being accused of not taking care of the child the way it should be. What could be the reason? That environment of the joint family system has been taken away. That complete life with the child got under one roof, he is not there. We are living in the cemented, isolated family. A couple, they get married, they live abroad alone. I don't know about the lifestyle here, but that's what's happening all over the world. And maximum number of children they have is 2. Maximum. 1 is just good enough. If they can afford and survive with 1 child, it's fine. That child, what is he getting under one roof? Working parents, not only working fathers, working mothers. And he is being dumped in daycare. When he comes home, maybe there's a maid, a nanny, a caretaker to look after him. And he is going in the wrong direction because the child is the same. He has the desire to learn. He has the desire to feel, experience, discover the world, but he is not being allowed to do that. And that is the reason today's parents, who unfortunately are doing all this just for the sake of their child. They only want to, the mother, why do you think the mothers are working? Basically to earn more money and give the child a better education. But in this new venture to discover their own children, they end up losing their own child. So what is the solution? We have recognized today's problem, and I will share my personal experience with you that we are victims of today's society. We are paying the price for civilization and progress. Because living alone, you may have many, many plus points. But what about the child? What about the child who, when he is 3 months, when he is 6 months, 1 year, he should be discovering you, your love, but you are not there for the child. You are not there for the child because you are too busy trying to live a better life, make a better life for him. So let me begin why it is necessary for parents to be educated as Montessorians. I don't need to go very far. As I said, as I say, many things are always blessing in disguise. And this one has to be. Personally, I did my Montessori course because I love children. I mean, naturally, that's the only reason. You have to have a desire and want to work with children. And I worked with children ever since I could remember. That means ever since I was a teenager. I did many wrong things with the children because I was not a trained teacher. And only after doing the training, I discovered, oh my God, what have I done to all those children who came to my nursery school? You just did all the wrong things at the right time. But it was, almost like a sin I had committed. So when I discovered the child, I redid my faults and I worked with many children. But somehow imagine a person who's worked for so many children in the world, did not have a child of her own. Wouldn't you think that was a sad mother? I mean, I being a Montessori person who's applying and telling the whole world how to do this, how to bring your child, God did not bless me with a child. Years passed, and years turned into years and years and years. And what happened to me as a Montessorian? With each passing years, I began to understand the child more and more and more. So, after 18 years of my marriage, I was blessed with a child. Wow. Right? And guess what? If I was blessed with that same child, well, it wouldn't be the same child. If I was blessed with a child in the first year of my marriage, I would have been an ordinary mother. And God made me and understand the child all these years to become a Montessori mother. So I will tell you the need and the difference there is why you all, those of you who already are, you should do your training. For those of you who will be blessed to become even fathers, you will be future father. And you have to do the course. You don't have too many options. I mean, it's like do or die. So do the Montessori course because you have to know what the child is all about. So I knew the child by then. And when my child was there in my life, I gave him the exposure from 0 years, keeping his absorbent mind, the sensitive period, his tendencies, how he's imitating and how he wants to do pouring and sweeping and mopping. My whole home environment was a complete Montessori environment. But, there's a big but, I was a working mother. I am a working mother. So what do? Oh my God, that is the worst thing. I know so much about the child, yet I do not have the time for my child. I had to leave my child, sometime in daycare, sometime in the home environment, sometime with the servant. But what happened then? Because I still understood the time, what do you think I did? Against all odds, out of 24 hours, even if I gave him 1 hour, that was pure Montessori hour. And it was worth it. It was worth it because you gave him all the opportunity to do all the constructive activities at home. starting from, he wants to do that. A typical parent, remember, a typical parent will never allow their child to do dusting, or sweep the floor, or make a mess in the kitchen, and bring pots and pans, and soap dishes, and play with water, wash clothes. Unfortunately, I don't have the clips, but there's a whole EPL activities being done at home, washing dishes with my child, and so on. That was difficult. Why? Because the rest of the family members, they were not trained, and they were in-laws. So we know, we may think we know, right? Although they brought up so many children, and in their time things was different. But now, when I as a Montessori teacher tried to be a Montessori mother, it was so tough. I tell you, it was the biggest challenge of my life. People accused me, people blamed me for leaving the child to do the dishes and were playing with soap because I don't have the time for him, I am so careless. Then people taunted me by saying that, oh, she does not have the time, and look at her child, he's so rude and he's always doing something, always messing up the house. Because they did not understand the child. I did. And I held on to my belief. You see, if you want to be a successful, educated mother, Montessori mother, you have to have the faith in the child. Because you understand your child. Every mother does, but you understand it the Montessori way. You have to have faith in the child. You have to have faith in yourself. That I know the next door neighbor, she is a good mother. People may think she's a good mother, but I am a Montessori mother, and I am educated to bring up my child in a different way, in a better way. And the third faith you need to have is have faith in the system, the Montessori system. This system, somebody once asked somebody, Montessori, that madam, your system is very old-fashioned. And it's not going to survive with the new technology. So, what is the question? How long would the Montessori system survive? How long? The answer is, as long as there is life on this earth. Right? Why? Who can tell me why? How could we say with guarantee that Montessori system will not disappear in next 10 years? Why will it survive till the end of time? It's based on the nature of the child. Million years ago, the child had the same nature. Even today's child, when he is born with the same nature. And 100,000 years ago, the child will have the same nature. So the system is unchangeable. You cannot. And Maria Montessori, she was lucky. She was smart. She was a genius. She was a scientist. She had this mind to look at things and observe and think and put her thoughts together. And that's how we have the theories. That's how we have a philosophy. It's not one day she decided the child likes to do this and the child does not like to do that. She actually laid herself on coal that eventually turned out to be diamonds. The child was always there. Why didn't I discover the child? Or somebody else? She is the only person, the biggest educationist the world had ever seen and will ever see, who discovered the child, and she has given us the child. So back to my story. This lady who was blessed with a child after 18 years tried her level best to give the Montessori at home to the child. And it was very difficult. Very difficult because nobody else understood the child. So what is going to be our advice for you? And why? Why do you think I had to give the child, my child, the Montessori system? Believe me, my child is definitely a Montessori child. He is 13 years now, and I have left the house on him. Nobody else. My husband is there, and when I was coming for the first time, it's just a 13-year-old child and my husband at home. No one else is there. I told my son that please take care of your daddy, instead of telling his daddy to take care of him. And it's a fact. It's really a fact. And he can fry his nuggets, he can make his noodles, he will take work from the maid. He is a totally complete adult with a sense of responsibility. His grandmother was with us, she just passed away a few days back, and he took her blood pressure, he checked her sugar, he gave her the medication, the oxygen mask, everything. A typical 13-year-old child, and he's been doing that since he was about 8, 9. So a typical ordinary child will not be able to do that.
Okay, and this one? Potato, is it a fruit or a vegetable? And this one? Banana, fruit or vegetable? One of these is the odd man out. Is it wrong? Potato, why? Because it's a vegetable and these are fruit. We learned about the characteristics and sets and vocabulary. How about? Okay, tell me what this is. Potato. What's that sound? The first sound you hear when I say potato. Okay. How about what is it? Hair. What's the beginning sound when we say hair? Okay. What's this? All good? Any questions? All okay? Alright. We have the odd man out that we can play without any options. Alright? And today we're going to play odd man out. When I say the name of an animal, you're going to clap once. Can you show me how you clap once? When it's not an animal, you have to keep your hands very quiet. Can you do that? On your knees. Can I say, can you do that? Okay. Lion. Tiger. Elephant. Banana. Monkey. Frog. Vulture. Papaya. Okay, so they are building listening skills, they're learning about vocabulary. Alright, listening skills are really important for language activities. Huh? It's really fun. I play it all the time with children of all age groups, even teenagers. It just makes you, I'm playing odd man out. It's going to be all girl pop singers and all boy pop singers. You can always modify and play to suit your age group. Okay, so we good so far? Any questions? So now, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. Okay. And her name is Lulu. Can everybody say hi to Lulu? Hi. Lulu is a sound muncher. She likes to eat sounds. Okay? And today, Lulu says to me that she wants to eat only things that begin with up. Can we help her? Okay? I have some objects here. I'm going to ask you whether we should give them to you or